No one remembered when Hollow Creek stopped appearing on maps. It wasn't abandoned in the usual way, no boarded houses, no do not enter signs. It simply slipped. GPS failed near it. Radios crackled. Birds avoided the sky above it. And the people who once lived there never talked about it again, as if the name itself could rot their tongues. Evan Carter arrived at Hollow Creek at dusk. He was a documentarian chasing a story no one wanted told. His sister, Lily, had vanished 3 years earlier after sending him one final voice message. 30 seconds of static, muffled crying, and a whisper that still crawled through his skull at night. Don't let it hear you breathe. The phone pinged Hollow Creek as her last known location. Evan parked his car near a rusted welcome sign, half swallowed by vines. The words were barely legible. Welcome to Hollow Creek, where silence keeps you safe. He laughed under his breath, nervous and hollow. Horror towns loved irony. The air was wrong the moment he stepped out. Too thick, too still. His footsteps sounded louder than they should have, like the ground was listening. Houses lined the street, perfectly intact, windows clean, doors shut. No decay, no life. He knocked on the first door. Nothing. The second. Still nothing. By the third house, Evan noticed something unsettling. There were lights on inside. Warm, yellow light. Curtains drawn. Someone lived here. He raised his hand to knock, and froze. From inside, something knocked back. 3 slow taps, exactly matching his rhythm. Evan stepped away, heart hammering. The door remained closed. No footsteps. No voices. A whisper slid through the air behind him. Don't. He spun around. A woman stood across the street, pale and thin, eyes sunken like they hadn't seen sleep in years. She clutched a lantern, its flame flickering violently though there was no wind. You shouldn't knock, she said. It learns you that way. Learns me. Her lips trembled. Your sound. Your timing. Your fear. Evan introduced himself, explaining Lily, the message, the town. The woman flinched at Lily's name. She came here screaming, she whispered. But Hollow Creek doesn't like screaming. What is Hollow Creek? Evan asked. The woman looked at the houses, then at the sky. It's not a place, she said. It's a throat. She begged Evan to leave before night fully fell. He almost listened. Then he heard it. A familiar sound. Lily's laugh. Soft. Playful. Coming from the house he had nearly knocked on. Lily. Evan ran toward the door. And oh, the woman screamed. Too late. The door opened on its own. Inside, the house smelled like dust and copper. The lights buzzed overhead. Family photos lined the walls, but every face had been scratched out except one. Lily. Same smile. Same scar above her eyebrow. Evan. Her voice called from upstairs. Why did you take so long? He climbed the stairs, every step groaning like it was in pain. The hallway was endless, stretching longer with each step. At the end, Lily stood in a bedroom doorway. But something was wrong. Her shadow didn't match her movements. When she smiled, the shadow's mouth split too wide. You shouldn't have come alone, she said. The door slammed behind him. The house breathed. Walls pulsed. The floor softened, sinking slightly under his feet like wet flesh. Evan stumbled back as Lily, or the thing wearing her, tilted its head. It remembers you, it said, voice layered with others. Your footsteps, your heartbeat, your grief. Evan ran. The hallway twisted, doors appearing where none had been before. Each door whispered his name in different voices. His mother, his father, Lily as a child. He burst outside, gasping. The town had changed. The houses leaned inward. Windows blinked open and shut like eyes. The sky had darkened into something bruised and swollen. The woman with the lantern stood in the middle of the street, shaking. It heard you, she said. Now it wants you. What is it? Evan screamed. She hesitated, then spoke the truth like a confession. Every town needs silence to survive. Ours found a way to eat sound instead. The ground cracked. From beneath Hollow Creek, something massive shifted. A vibration rolled through the street, deep and hungry. The town screamed. Not with voices, but with everything else. Doors slamming, glass shattering, wood splitting, all noise being dragged downward. Evan felt it pulling at his chest, at his breath. The woman shoved the lantern into his hands. Fire confuses it. Light has a sound it hates. She ran, didn't make it 3 steps. The ground opened beneath her, swallowing her whole without a scream. Evan ran toward his car, but the road stretched, repeating itself endlessly. Every turn brought him back to the center of town. The lantern flickered. The whisper returned. Evan. Lily stood in the street now. Her body bent wrong, joints moving like they were remembering how humans worked. I was quiet, she said. It still took me. Tears burned his eyes. I'm sorry. Her face cracked, skin splitting open like paper, revealing darkness underneath. It doesn't forgive, it said. The lantern went out. Total silence. Then, breathing. Not his. The town leaned closer. Evan ran blindly, hands outstretched, until he crashed into something soft and warm. A door. He knocked by accident. 3 taps. From inside. 3 taps answered back. He screamed. The sound was gone before it reached his ears. Morning came to Hollow Creek, as it always did. Quiet. Evan Carter's car was found days later, abandoned at the edge of town. Engine cold. Door open. Inside the glove compartment, police found a recorder. The last 30 seconds were static. Then a whisper. Don't let it hear you breathe. And beneath it, a slow, rhythmic knocking. From the inside. The voicemail arrived at 2:17 a.m. Ayan Malik was awake, staring at the ceiling of his apartment, listening to the distant hum of traffic and the occasional bark of a stray dog. Sleep had become a stranger ever since his mother died. Nights felt longer now, stretched thin by memories and regrets. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He frowned. No one called at this hour. The voicemail played automatically. At first, there was only breathing. Slow. Wet. As if someone was struggling to pull air through a narrow passage. Then a voice whispered, trembling and familiar. Ayan, Beta, Darwaza Mat Kolna. His mother's voice. Ayan sat up, so fast his head spun. His mother had been buried 6 months ago. He had watched the earth swallow her coffin. He had thrown the last fist of soil himself. This isn't funny, he whispered, though no one was there. The voicemail continued. Womir Jaisa Lagdahai, Lekin Main Nahi Hoon. It sounds like me, but it isn't me. The message cut off with a sharp knocking sound. 3 knocks. Ayan stared at the phone until the screen went dark. At 2:18 a.m., someone knocked on his apartment door. 3 times. His heart slammed against his ribs. Every instinct screamed at him not to move. The apartment felt suddenly smaller, the walls closer, the air heavier. Ayan. A voice called softly from the other side of the door. Darwaza called Du. His mother. Her tone was gentle, loving, exactly the way she used to call him when dinner was ready. He stood up despite himself, legs trembling, and moved toward the door. His hand hovered inches from the handle. Emmy, his voice cracked. There was a pause. Then, quietly, Han Beta. Something was wrong. Her voice had no echo, no depth. It sounded like it was being pushed through something tight, something breathing. Ayan stepped back. I saw you die, he whispered. Silence. Then the voice changed, became strained. I'm outside for too long, it said. If you don't open it, I'll forget your face. The hallway light outside his door flickered through the peephole. Ayan backed away until he hit the couch. He didn't sleep that night. The knocking continued every hour, always 3 slow knocks, until morning light finally crept through the windows. When he opened the door at sunrise, the hallway was empty, but on the floor lay a small metal bowl, his mother's begging bowl. The next day, Ayan took the voicemail to a sound engineer friend. The man went pale after listening. There's something layered under the voice, he said. Like another mouth speaking at the same time. Out of sync. Can you isolate it? The engineer nodded, and pressed a few keys. A second voice emerged. Low, guttural, hungry, open. That night, the voicemail came again. This time, it was his father's voice. Ion stopped answering calls altogether. But the knocks didn't stop. Always 3. Always at 2:17 a.m. On the fourth night, the voice knew things. The scar on your knee? It said softly. The lie you told about university. The money you stole from her cupboard. Ion covered his ears, sobbing. How do you know? He screamed. From the other side of the door came a sound like smiling. We live in what you remember. Desperate, Ion returned to his childhood home, the small, decaying house where his parents had lived. It had been locked since his mother's death. The air inside smelled stale and wrong, like a place that had been holding its breath. He went straight to her room. The mirror above her dresser was covered with a cloth. He remembered now. His mother had covered all mirrors in the house during her final weeks. They watch, she had whispered. Ion pulled the cloth away. The reflection blinked late. He froze. His reflection smiled when he didn't. Then it knocked. From inside the mirror. 3 times. Ion stumbled back, screaming. The mirror cracked down the middle, but the smiling reflection remained, staring through the broken glass. Open the door, it said. He ran. That night, he stayed at a hotel, far from home, far from memories. He unplugged the phone, locked the door, shoved a chair beneath the handle. At 2:17 a.m., the knocking came from the bathroom door. 3 times. The lights went out. In the darkness, something breathed close to his ear. We don't come from outside, it whispered. We come when you remember us. The bathroom mirror lit up on its own. Inside it stood his mother, his father, his childhood self, faces layered and shifting, mouths opening at the wrong angles. We need a place, they said together. And you have so many empty rooms inside you. Ion screamed and smashed the mirror with his fist. Glass exploded outward. The room went silent. The police found him the next morning, alone, bleeding, rocking in a corner. He never spoke again. But strange things began happening after Ion Malik was admitted to the psychiatric ward. Patients reported knocking from inside walls. Mirrors were removed after staff claimed their reflections moved on their own. And every night at 2:17 a.m., nurses heard 3 slow knocks coming from room 313, Ion's room. When they opened the door, he was always asleep, smiling, his lips moving silently, as if answering someone knocking from the inside. The village wall had been sealed for 30 years. Not because it was dry, because it answered. Sammy used to hear stories about it when he was a child. Old women whispered that the well repeated what you said, but wrong. Not like an echo, like something trying to learn your voice. When Sammy returned to the village after his father's death, the well was the first thing he saw. A concrete slab covered it now, cracked down the center. Someone had carved words into the stone. Do not speak near it. Sammy laughed. Grief made people superstitious. That night, sleep refused to come. The house felt crowded though he was alone. At midnight, he heard it. A whisper. Sammy. He sat up. The sound came from the courtyard. From the well. He stepped outside, barefoot on cold earth. Moonlight pooled around the slab. Hello, he said. The whisper returned. Hello, but slower. Thicker. Like it had been chewed before being spoken. Sammy swallowed. Who's there? Who's there? The words fell into the well and climbed back out, warped. He backed away. The next day, the village seemed quieter. Birds avoided the courtyard. His aunt refused to step outside. You spoke to it, she said, eyes wide. Now it knows you have a mouth. That night, the well spoke first. Sammy, it called perfectly this time. His father's voice. Sammy ran outside, heart pounding. Abba, come closer, the voice said gently. I can't hear you from here. Tears filled Sammy's eyes. His father had died in the same courtyard. I miss you, Sammy whispered. The well laughed. Not loudly, politely. You sound better when you're sad, it said. The slab shifted. A hand emerged, pale, wet, fingers too long. It rested on the edge like someone about to pull themselves out. Sammy screamed. The hand froze. It tilted its head, though there was no body. Screaming damages the voice, it said. Please don't. The hand retreated. The slab sealed itself again. Sammy didn't sleep. On the third night, the well copied his mother's voice. On the fourth, his own. On the fifth, it spoke without copying anyone at all. We are full, it said. But you are not. Cracks spread across the slab like veins. Sammy tried to leave the village, but the road led him back every time. The well was always waiting. On the seventh night, he stopped resisting. He knelt by the slab. I won't scream, he whispered. Good, the well said kindly. The slab slid aside. Darkness breathed upward. Just your voice, it said. You can keep the rest. When the villagers finally broke the slab weeks later, the well was empty. No body, no blood, only a whisper rising from its depths. Hello, in Sammy's voice.